But we're going to start, and we're going to start in child's pose, because I've been playing with child's pose, and you can extend your arms forwards, but you can also take your arms behind you and just gently just take the insteps, and it's a really supportive feeling. And I'm being kind to my ankles, and I'm just popping a wee blanket underneath them. And we're just going to take a moment here and really breathe into the whole body, the 360, so not just the sides but the whole of the torso. And just start to connect with the breath. And as you breathe, just feel the back just opening. And then gently bring your hands just to support you as you draw yourself all the way up. And we're going to find a steady base, so you can sit in Sukhasana or butterfly. And we're just going to take a moment, finding that length in the spine. Maybe just gently drawing the chin down to the chest. And then all the way back up. We're just going to take a moment to loosen the neck a little, and just see if at the beginning of practice we can soften. So we're softening the upper body. So we're just going to gently drop the chin and use your nose to guide you, but just draw a big half circle, half moon. And see if you can pause. If there's any tension, just take a moment. Stretching through. If it makes it feel any better, you can take a big circle, but just watch the neck as it comes gently back. You might just be dropping the chin, taking little small circles. So this is very much about sensation over shape. So it's about how it makes you feel. And then maybe bring the head back to center, and just gently take the shoulder and draw the shoulders all the way up to the ears, and then allow the shoulder blades just to sink gently. Feel that stretch as you take the chin forwards, and then gently draw the shoulders up again and allow them just to relax down. And then maybe just gently rolling the shoulder. It's a really, sometimes quite a tricky thing to do, rolling shoulders. You kind of think, is that right? But it doesn't matter, right or wrong, it's how it feels. And if it looks odd, it doesn't matter either. Don't care about that. If it feels good, that's good. And then interlace the hands and just gently push them forwards, and allow yourself to really roll the chin down round the spine. And then soften the arms, bring the hands back towards you, interlace still, and inhale, lift. What we're wanting to do is gently allow the hands to come apart, creating space, and draw the arms behind you. All the time allowing the shoulder blades to move with you. So inhale, lift, feeling them rise, stretching up. Exhale, cactus arms. Extra stretch, you can take the chin away down to the chest again. Inhale, lift. Exhale, cactus arms. Come back up to center, still with the arms, and take a twist across to your right. All the way back to center, inhaling and exhaling as you come across, so working with the breath. Inhaling back to center and exhaling across. Again, all the way to the other side. And then all the way back across. And hands down. You're going to take your right hand to the yoga mat and just extend the left, but gently. So we're not pulling against the ear. I have a phrase the other day that really actually sat with me. Your arm doesn't become an earring. Okay? So we don't need any danglies. You need space. So we lift up. Now we're going to come across. Keep that chest open on an exhale. But as we come back, we're going to draw the elbow back and bend at the elbow. So you can get a nice deep stretch. And for wherever that feels, hand might come onto the knee. Wherever it does, might still bend. Same side. Just drawing a little bit of a stretch into that top body. Because we're going to move today, so we need to be bendy. Inhale, lift the opposite side again. Space between the arm, shoulder, the ear. Hand comes to the side of the mat. You can stretch over. You can actually bring your hand, and I know you're on the mat, if you're not on a double mat, you're on the floor, but you can bring your forearm to the mat as well, to the floor. And then draw it back, and you can just, almost like you're opening a little kind of heart to the sky. Across the way, and all the way back. And then sweep all the way, and we're going to just take the hands across the knees and really curl through. And then all the way through this practice, what I want you to be mindful of is exploring the heart, exploring the rib cage, that openness, the collarbones. And then I want you to think about where your neck is placed as well. So when we're in poses, if it's tight, and you're feeling tightness, alter. Your drishti doesn't always have to be traditionally where warrior 2 is, for instance. It can be out if that's causing tension in the neck, and we'll look at that as we go. So we're going to come to no, we're not actually. We're going to work through, we're going to come to down dog. So I'm going to ignore that. She's very good. Beastie. We're going to come to down dog. And what I want you to do with down dog is I want you to just draw yourself into down dog, and I want you to start moving toes, heels, even take your hand off the mat. Bring some movement into this. Stretching. You might have a squeaky floorboard, I found one. And then come to stillness in your base pose. Make sure that you're bending your knees loads, allowing that kind of the hips, the sit bones to rise, spreading the fingers, pushing away from your mat. And then think about space. Let's not have those arms as earrings. So pushing away, allowing yourself to draw up into the core and allow weight into the back of the legs, into the heels. You might still be padding if that's what you want to do. And then we're going to just allow the left leg to anchor, and we're going to lift the right leg into a tripod, three-legged dog. And even point the toes here, don't even dial them down. Allow a little bit of an opening of a hip here. You might just draw a little bit of height into this today. And then we're going to step that foot to the outside of the hands, coming into a lizard pose right at the beginning of this practice, opening the hips. Gently into that lizard pose, push the heart forwards. Just allow a stretch. You can push through that back leg if you wish. We can keep it slightly bent. Fingertips can come to the mat. Keep weight out of that heel. Blocks are always good. You can use blocks here if you wish. Take a moment and then just take the gaze forwards. Brilliant. And then we're going to drop that hand next to the foot and then allow ourselves just to open up into a little twist. Wonderful. And again, if the head is not good, looking up at the hand, look down. Change the drishti. Hand comes down to the mat. We're going to step to plank and walk the plank. I love saying that. We could actually say walk the floorboards. And then bring yourself back up to down dog. And any time through this practice, come off the hands if you wish and come into a child's pose. We're going to drop the opposite foot now, the left foot. Lift the right foot into tripod, three-legged dog. Maybe even allow a little bit of an opening of the hips here. Pointing the foot rather than pushing it down towards the floor. Stepping to lizard on the other side, low lunge lizard. And opening the heart. Looking forwards. And then gently opening again on the same side. That's a cracker, isn't it? Oh, that's better. Great. And adjust where you're looking if you need to. Look out, look down. All the way back to the mat. And we're going to come all the way to tabletop. Tabletop position here. And bend the arms very gently, soft bend in the elbows. And we're just going to flow. We're not going to come to a full thread the needle. We're not going to bring the shoulder all the way down. But what we're going to do, we're going to open up the right hand. Inhale and open that wing up. It doesn't need to be kind of anywhere particular, it's where it's comfy. And then thread through and really push that hand through and float. Stretching through that shoulder. All the way inhale, all the way back up. And exhale through. Allow movement that suits you. Inhale, all the way back up. And exhale through. Back to center. And open on the other side. If the hips move, they do. If you come off center and you're enjoying it, that's fine. It's going to be one of those practices tonight. You're going to be dancing disco by the end. The soundtrack changes. And all the way through. Oh yes. Inhale, lift. And engage the core as you're doing this as well. So just knitting those ribs slightly, drawing the core in. Hands come to the mat. Take a little turn in a little hovering cat here, stepping up. For a little bit of extra heat, you don't have to come to tiptoes. You can actually come to the front of the foot in hovering cat. You can actually lift up that way. It's just an alternative. It might not suit you. And just breathing here. Bring the knees down to the mat and sweep yourself back up, so coming into half camel here. If you need something under your knees, then that's absolutely fine. Drop the right hand, inhale the left. And then draw the other hand down, inhale across to the side, lovely stretches. All the way back. Hands to the heart. Sweep all the way back to child's pose. Hands can come forwards if you wish. Take a stretch through the back here and take a breath. Inhaling, expanding into the sides of the chest. Exhaling. Walk your hands all the way forwards. Bring the hands in front of you, step yourself up and bring the hips up high into a forward fold, walking the hands towards you at the back of the mat. And take a moment here to just draw the heels high. Allow the neck to soften. So allow the head to just dangle. Bring the feet down to the mat, really engage the mat, bend the knees.
And if you wish, interlace the fingers and bring them behind the neck, allowing the arms just to fold. Bring the weight over the feet and bend the knees as much as you need. Inhaling and exhaling. Really allow that neck to relax. Draw the hands gently to the mat. Maybe bring them behind the calves. And then inhale, flat back. Allowing length from the crown of the head to the base of the spine. So really thinking about tucking that chin in very slightly so that the head is integral to the spine. So just maybe Emma and Jenny just tucking the chin very gently under a little bit more. That's it. And then think about lengthening, bending the knees but pushing through the back. And then allowing the arms to engage in the core. Exhale, flat back. Exhale, sorry, forward fold. And then we're going to walk all the way to the front by just moving our hands and coming into down dog this way. Hand back into down dog. Anchor the right foot. Let's lift the left. Three-legged dog. And then draw knee all the way into the nose. Draw right up. Bring that heel all the way into the glute. Exhale, back into three-legged dog. Open the hip if you wish. Stacked tripod. All the way back forwards, knee into nose. And not for everybody, so if you want to avoid this pose, come to a child's pose. If not, bring that leg forwards down to the mat and come into quite a high pigeon here. The idea with pigeon is not to get our shin parallel to the mat, it's to be able to fly. Okay? So, yay! It's to bring balance to the pose. You can use blocks underneath the hip. My foot is always back. I mean, you can, if you want, expand and try and open, but I think it's a comfy pigeon today. A pigeon who's had too many mince pies. And then hands plant, and we're going to step all the way back up to down dog. Walk that leg out, pad the feet, and then draw the opposite leg into tripod, three-legged dog. Draw the knee all the way into the core. Really up. Come onto those tiptoes. Really push that heel right into the glute. Tuck the knee towards that nose. And then all the way back up again. Maybe open the hip slightly by just bending the knee, stacking. And then draw the knee all the way back up into the core. And allow yourself, if you wish, we can call it flying pigeon. There you are. Just a little bit of height. Taking a moment here. Marmite pose. There's a few Marmite poses in yoga. You see, yeah, it's just totally, it depends. But then some people find it excruciating because it's like you may be slightly tighter hips, and so if it is, then ease off the knee, bring the knee towards you and bring the foot towards you. Adjust the pose very slightly, and you might even be more comfy just with the forearms down on the mat. So it's finding, Iona, a pose is that any comfier at all? No. So if it's horrid, then at the moment, just find an alternative to go back into a wide child's pose, extended child's pose. And it's just different body shapes, different sensations. That's it, and that's probably a little comfier for you.
Yes.
Yeah. Moving yourself all the way back up. And moving yourself into down dog. And then bending the knees, we're going to step, or you can hop to the front of the mat. Come into that forward fold. I really would love to float. I'm going to start practicing now I've got my room back again. Be nice. And then we're going to just push all the way, come up to, all the way to standing. Leave the right foot at the top of the mat. We're going to step to warrior two. And warrior two. And I hope you're okay. I'm facing forwards today. Is that okay? You can see enough. You're all right there. Great, okay. Warrior two, we're going to actually really think about our feet, but we're going to tuck our tailbone just slightly under. So sometimes we find that arch at the back. We're going to find a neutral pelvis. So we're not going to tuck the pelvis out. We're going to just tuck it gently under. Allow yourself to just zip that core up. Take yourself out to the side of the mat. And then pull the back heel and the front heel together. So you can feel the inner thighs really engaging. Really firm footing and press back into the feet. Now, I want you to float. I want the top body to feel really, really soft. Okay? And open, and then the arms float. And drawing those shoulders down, allowing the neck to be comfy wherever. So it might be it's forwards, but it might actually be that it's actually looking out the way. And you work on those little pinkies coming back. Backhand is going to come into the small of the back. Reverse warrior, lift. Spiral all the way to down dog. And we're going to wave. So we're going to come up and over onto our tiptoes and come into plank. You were there already. You beat me to it. Lift the knees all the way back up. Come to down dog. Really use your core here. So engage the core. Inhale. Exhale. Lift over. Push away from the mat. So really push into the fingertips. Push into the knuckles. Make sure that the hands are really spread wide. The fingers are spread wide. Back up into down dog. Now opposite foot's now going to come to the front of the mat. You can either three-legged dog or just step through. Warrior two, rise up on the other side. Hoik is a really good term.
I generally can't get my foot to the front of the mat by doing that.
So there's a couple of tricks. So yes, we can go through that. So we're coming into warrior two. I'll go through that next time we do it. Just tucking that tailbone. Pull those heels together so you really feel those legs go shoom. And then push into the whole of the foot, floating the arms. Soft arms. Inhale, reverse warrior. Float all the way forwards. Frame the foot, runner's lunge. Step back, down dog. Take a moment here. Weight the left foot. Lift back into three-legged dog. And the supported foot, you're going to bend the knee. You're then going to bring the same side, the forearm to the mat. And allow yourself into a little beginning of a little arm balance here. We're starting to think about support. If you want to bring heat, you can bring yourself back up off the arm. And then then all the way back down again. That was optional. You can stack that leg, you can play with this. And then all the way, bring yourself back to the knees, sweep yourself just gently back, hips. And take a moment just in a counter pose here. Lift all the way back up. You have the wooden spoon prize for the first ever person that has taught a yoga class. It's a cracker, isn't it? Yeah, it's a cracker. It's a really good shoulder opener. So what we're doing, yeah, okay, so it's really building strength. So the one thing that I find in my own practice, I'm not doing enough, so I'm going to inflict it on you, is the arm strength. We do a lot with the body, the core, the legs. We do forearm planks, but just building that arm strength, that actually when we come into places where we've got a whole strength for crow, for the arm balances, you then start to build. A little like Popeye by the end of this block, you see. So we're going to come back into down dog. Now you know what's coming. Sorry, I've never done that in class before for you. You're going to just bring your leg into tripod. Bend the knee that's supporting. Allow that forearm to come down. And bring the forearm and really push into that forearm. You can even stack that back leg if you wish. And start to engage the core. Working. If this is optional, you can bring yourself back up into three-legged dog. Back down. You can play. Bring some heat. Lift all the way back up to three-legged dog. Down dog. Bend the knees, hop to the front of the mat. And draw yourself all the way back up to standing. Loop the shoulders back. Welcome to winter practice. The windows are going to have to remain open, aren't they? So we're just going to have to keep working. Brilliant, I love it, it's great. I have to say, this is, I think, the most favourite venue.
It's lovely.
It's just, it's...
When the bats start looping around inside, that's lovely too.
Oh,
There are bats inside, yeah.
anybody got a bat phobia?
Not yet.
By the end of the block in November, you might have. Hands are going to come to the heart. And just gently bring the palms together. And then as you do, lift up, knit those ribs. And we're going to come into a little chair pose here, sinking. And really come down into that squat. Bending at the ankles, the knees. And we're going to go across to the right into a little revolved chair here. Breathe into this. All the way back to centre and across to the other side. Lift all the way, sweep the hands high. Come hands high prayer, lift up to tiptoes. Hands come down to prayer. Bring the heels down. Fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Warrior one, step back into warrior one. Sweep the hands as you come all the way up. Again, drawing the hips equal. Push into those feet. Let's sink if you can, unless you've got a knee injury. Let's just sink a little into this. Come further down. Hands come to the heart. Little twist over to the side. If you're here and it would be rude not to, you can always take a little bind by bringing the hands underneath and the hand to the back. Optional. Optional. Don't want to injure anybody. Working with the breath here. Push all the way back up, sweep the hands, warrior one. Plant the hands, vinyasa. We're going to step to plank. Full chaturanga or half chaturanga with the knees down. Up to you, shifting the weight forwards, knees down if they are, chest comes down, and then inhale to Bhujangasana, or you can come into up dog wherever you are. All the way back, down dog, lifting up the hips high. Bend the knees, step forward to the front of the mat, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Step to warrior one on the other side, sweep the hands all the way up. Hands to the heart. And a little fold on the other side. And take a bind if you wish. And with the bind, what we're after is to be able to touch the hands, yes, but also then to open gently. So we're opening that top shoulder. So that actually your shoulder's not down, you're not facing the mat, you're actually gently pushing into the feet, allowing space, really push into the feet to allow that top shoulder, those ribs to open. If it's too much, then you can always use a strap or a jumper or something. So what we're doing, Vicky, is instead of looking down at the mat, I'm pushing into the feet, I'm sliding my hand just so it allows, it goes forwards to the knee a little bit, which allows me to just open up a bit more. Because if I have my bind here, it's clasping at me, so I can't open. So I'm finding a place where I'm then able to open a little with that top shoulder. I think, hold on, do that, where did your, you've got the wrong hand, that's why. Yes, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's fine.
Even I can do that one.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Oh, right. So, take a moment here in mountain. Take hands to the heart. Take a moment just to center, maybe just gently close the eyes. Feel the lift all the way up the front body, lifting from the inner arches. And then relax the shoulders. Allow the weight to just drop into the back of the heel. Inhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Leave the right foot at the front of the mat, step to low lunge. Bring the hand just gently onto the knee and watching your knee push up. And what happens is you then come up a little higher than you normally would. What we're doing is we're not dumping the weight into the hip. Inhale, lift, gentle arms. Exhale, frame the foot. Step to runner's lunge, open the heart, looking forwards. And then we're going to drop that back foot so it comes onto its side. And as we do, we're going to walk around. Now, some of you might be quite high, which is fine. Some of you might end up in a little Skandasana pose here. And then some of you might have a little balance with the hands. You okay there? Yeah, so you might be that you're high here, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, this is I've got.
Yeah, I was going to say that's no problem. Yeah, Skandasana can easily get the knees, so just be wee bit mindful. Now, you don't, this is optional, Iona. So what you can do is you can sink the hand behind you, allow the hips to come to the mat, push up and lift into a wild thing variation. You don't have to, okay? Let's just take a moment. All the way back down, Skandasana. Walk to the other side of the mat. So you're using the length of the mat now. Draw yourself up into little Skandasana this side. Some people find that they don't like the hands here, and actually it feels better to have the hands on the mat. So it's wherever you are. Sweep the hand behind you, allow yourself to bring the hip down, and then allow yourself to open up into a little variation of wild thing. A little bit of creative flow. All the way forwards, push back to the front of the mat, and you're in low lunge on the other side. I think, maybe not, but low lunge, that'll be fine. There we are, that confused you tonight. There we are, plank. Throw in a few curveballs. And then we're going to shift to vinyasa, so you can come and try a full vinyasa or knees to the mat if you wish. Wherever you are, choosing cobra or up dog. And if you're in up dog, really make sure when you roll over, you really bend the knees to allow your hips to rise high to down dog. And then bring your knees all the way to the mat. So the one thing I wanted to unravel tonight, so we've done some flow as well, and we're probably feeling quite stretchy, was camel. Because we can. If you've got blocks, it's great. Camel is a really nice one. It aids the digestion and strengthens the body, so it's a good one if you're just feeling a little bit like not happy. So what we're going to do, we're just going to play with it. We don't have to go into a full camel. There's lots of modifications, but what we do need is the hips, the knees parallel. So we don't bring them together, we bring them just under the hip points. And what I want you to do is I want you to really think about pushing, unless you get cramp, just be careful if you're prone to cramp, pushing into that kind of front of the foot and trying to get a little bit of pressing the toes as well. And just check, I really do need to, I have been walking kind of outside. I go and walk at lunchtime on the grass, and then I come to a yoga class and think, oh God, shouldn't have done that. Sorry. So really push into those toes and allow yourself just to really feel that firm. Take the thighs just gently back slightly, but allow that pelvis just to gently remain here. We start to feel that real engagement of the core. Shoulders back, heart open. And lengthen, see if you can lengthen that tailbone down. And just gently allow that shape to happen. Now, you don't have to go into a full pose. You can just take the hands gently. And we're never bending at the lower back here. We're actually using the whole of the back to lengthen, and then kind of you expand to be able to just curve slightly. So we're not taking this as a lower back band. We're not going like that. That's not good for us. But we're lifting, lengthening that tailbone, and just allowing a gentle curve at the back. If you have two blocks, then the two blocks come outside of the foot. The drishti is upwards, and the drishti can be closed, can be soft, and you can allow yourself to use the blocks to come down. You also need to be careful of the back of the neck. The back of the neck, there gets to a point where it hangs and you think, oh, I've lost that, okay? You need to be really careful of the back of the neck. Keep the sides of the throat almost open, as if you're opening and sliding the throat. And then it might be that you have the flexibility to draw your hands towards the soles of your feet and allow yourself into camel. But it might be that that's just too much. And then you just, the other one that's really, really nice is to allow that open. So you have the half camel, and actually that half camel can come onto block as well, and you have a little bit of support, and then you get a stretch in the hip, which might be quite nice for you. So I actually get a little stretch up here if I'm pushing to this block. So playing with camel. How does that feel? Have you got any kind of, you're okay with that?
Yeah, I can't get it.
Yeah, and that's fine.
It just doesn't allow me to go very far.
And I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, because you know your own body.
Yeah.
But I know that it's one thing that my body likes. It likes a wee bit of a stretch, and that's. But we're all different, and that's what I mean. It's about sensation, and this is very good. It's a very stretchy pose. It's a very. Some people like it. Some people just use a different modification, but it benefits everybody, whatever we're doing. And if your knees are pinching.
Further back, but I can't bend.
No, that's fine. So gently, gently just support the back and open the chest, open the collarbone. Don't even think about coming back. And these hip points that are facing a fair amount forward, we have to think about the hip points when we're going back. So just allow the openness of the collarbone. Don't even have to lean back. It's just, but we will take a counter pose. And the counter pose we take is a child's pose. Just and allow ourselves to sink, and an extended child's pose is a really nice thing to do. And actually, maybe just to cross the hands and allow the head just to come to the hands to rest, bringing a little bit of height into child's pose. Inhaling and exhaling here. Breathing into the body. And then really reaching and just arching and stretching that back. Walk the hands towards you. Allow the knees to come together. Bring the hands forwards. Come up into stacked back position. And just gently circle the hips again. Just taking a bit of movement here. And make this feel for you. It might just be that you're just sinking back into the hips, stretching through, reversing the circle as well. Then we're going to just tuck the toes. Send our hips high, bring ourselves to down dog. And step to the center of the mat. Rising up. Hands to the heart. Taking we balance and a bit of a play. We're just going to weight our right foot. And then bring our foot all the way back. Come into warrior 3 if you wish. Hands gently coming forwards. Float the hands back into airplane if you wish. Remember that core is there to help support you. Drawing that knee all the way forwards. Standing balance. One-legged, standing Tadasana, bend the knee, you might even want to fold. You can drop to the mat if you wish, or not. Wherever you are, sliding that foot down, so we come into a little cross-legged, and gently coming into a forward fold. Unraveling the feet, pushing back up to standing. Balance on the other side. Hand might come to prayer. Working the foot back. Really push into that mat. Suction the feet in the mat. Arms extend if you wish. Warrior 3. Play with the hands. Bring them to airplane arms if you wish. Relax those shoulders. Bring them forwards to high prayer. Bring your foot all the way forwards and up. Cross-legged, standing Tadasana. You've gone into the extension, well done.
I find that easier than that.
Do you?
Yeah, my foot always slips down like that. It's a shame.
Okay, well let's have a play. Okay, all right, there we are. We're just going to fold a wee bit and then we're going to play with that. Because that's actually a nice modification. I haven't done that for ages. And then all the way back up. So Emma's just shown something that's really nice, half lotus. I think that's what they call it. Probably won't do it on that ankle. So instead of coming across, you're gently taking and turning. Now, it might be tricky if you've got tight hips, okay? And just be careful of, yeah, just if you're a little kind of been suffering. So, but it is a nice little bend here. And it allows you to come into little lotus fold here. You can play. It's an interesting one. But it might not be for you. I'm not going to do it on my bad ankle because it's probably going to go, oh! That's probably why I haven't done it for a long time. But it's actually about tucking. So Vicky, it's actually about gently opening that hip and then allowing it to kind of the sole of the foot open like a book. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it myself. Try, I might surprise myself. Maybe. Maybe not.
It's almost easier to balance because you can stick your foot across.
Yes, yeah. It's a bit like tree pose.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier just to have the foot like up so it doesn't sit. See, Amanda, you've done it.
I was just playing just to see.
Yeah. And the idea is, again, it's these poses where our body thinks we need to lean forwards, but actually what we need to do is draw our core open and the shoulders back. And it's a nice pose. Thank you for reminding me of that. I've not done that for ages, probably because of that, so never mind. You can do all sorts of it. So let's flow. Let's flow. We're going to come to the top of the mountain. Take a moment here in mountain. Sweep, inhale, lift. Hands to the heart, fold. Inhale, flat back. Bring movement to this if you wish. Exhale all the way down. Leave the right foot at the front, step to warrior 1. Sweep the hands high. Exhale, warrior 2. Reverse warrior, lift up. Push into that front foot, straighten that front leg, and come to triangle. Let's explore triangle with this arm, the top arm. Let's maybe bring the top arm over and forwards as if we did in side angle. Might be that you want that top arm in a little bind and it catches just behind the waist. Push all the way back up, warrior 2. Sink into that knee. Wide angle, wide fold here, come across the side of the mat, come all the way down. Take a play here. You might want to walk the hands across to one side, bend the knee. Walk the hands across to the other side. You can start. Oh, now there's a pose. Now you've got me started. You might start to think about hooking the leg over your shoulder. Bit of a stretch there. Lovely stretches actually. Just playing what the body can do and achieve, the shapes we can make. And then push into the feet, draw yourself all the way back up and open up to star. stretch through the front of the body. Fold across to the left hand side. Inhale, star, all the way back up, using the feet to push you up. Exhale across to the other side. Walk the hands all the way to the front of the mat. Take the pose to low runner's lunge, front of the mat. Take a vinyasa. Step back. And then your choice. Up dog, cobra. Rolling all the way back up to down dog. Now we need the opposite foot at the top of the mat. So we're going to lift maybe to three-legged dog. Come up onto the tiptoes. Really lift the core in. Draw the knee into the nose, and that gives you the space. Come onto the tiptoes of the hands and step through. Ooh, nearly. There's a little bit of hoiking, but not too much. Runner's lunge, and then step the back foot to the top of the mat. Push all the way back up. Going to come to the other side, warrior one. Sweep the hands, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Just about shapes tonight, it's nice. Different. Reverse warrior. Back to warrior two. Push through that front leg, not locking that front knee, and slide into Trikonasana. Explore that top arm. Is it comfier? Forwards with the palm shining a light towards the front of the mat. Do you like the bind? Is the bind a nice thing tonight? Where's the neck comfy? Is the neck comfy? Just gently at an angle, looking maybe to the long edge of the mat, softening, giving ourselves space between the shoulders and the ears. Push all the way back up, warrior two. Wide fold, we can play with wide fold. Again, bending the knees as we come down, engage the core, lifting. There we are, and play. You might want to just swing one side to the other. Might want to start to think about playing with bringing that knee forwards. Watching the knees as well, Iona, so maybe just...
Yeah, it's playing video, just sometimes I can't take bend in it.
Just enjoy that wide fold. And then push through the feet, bend the knees slightly, engage the core and push as hard as you can in the feet, bring yourself up to star. Exhale, fold the same way across the left hand side. Push into the feet, lift all the way back up. And exhale, fold. Walk the hands to the centre of the mat. Just take a little stretch in the legs if you wish. Bring the toes off the mat, heels. And then leave the toes pointing out the way. And then as you come up, draw the tailbone under, sink into goddess. Hands come to the hips. Sink the right shoulder forwards, stretching the shoulder, pointing the shoulder towards the centre. Stretching through. Drop and change shoulders, left shoulder. All the way back up, push into goddess. Hands to the heart. A little bit of heat, take the heels off the mat. Tuck that tailbone under. That's it, engage the core. Heels to the mat, push all the way up. You can either jump or you can heel toe to the centre of the mat. taking a moment here and just step back a little bit, and we're going to just come to our perch. Don't have to come into crow, but what we're doing as part of this, unless you've got a crow practice, is we had a quite a conversation about desensitizing the back of the arms, because over time it doesn't, it's like being on the top of your head. Having the knees into the back of your arms can actually, if you don't do it very often, because your body's not used to it, can really hurt. So if we just gently desensitize the body over time, then when you actually start to float into crow, it doesn't hurt, if that makes sense. So we're just going to come to a little perch, and we're just bending, taking to tippy toes here. And all you need to do, unless you want to play with crow at this point in particular, is just let the knees meet the top of the arms, and then just allow a little bit of weight. Even come to higher tippy toes if you can. Got blocks, you can use those. Looking down towards the mat, don't tuck the chin under. And then as you just shift that weight forwards, you might find that you can just pick up one toe. And if you start to rise up into crow, you start to draw the heel in. So the heels come towards the glute. And that's, is that hurting, Vicky?
No, I did it. She did it.
Oh, you did it, I was looking over there. You flew! Well done. And it's just working at that point of balance. And actually the point of balance, allowing yourself to trust. Well done, Vicky. Brilliant. And well done, Jenny. So think about drawing those heels right up to the glutes. That's it. Well done. I think we've created a bit of heat in class tonight. Allow yourself to come all the way down to the mat, and just allow yourself maybe even to straddle just a wee bit across the mat. Even take maybe one of the legs in and just allow a bit of a moment to reset. Maybe just taking a gentle stretch. You can just lift the knee a little bit. Allowing a stretch on the other side, whatever's comfy for you. You can turn your body to gently face the leg. Sometimes it's also quite nice to have a side stretch, so it's really what feels good. Draw yourself all the way back up to Dandasana. And we can take a little twist here, so we just take one leg over, and if it's accessible, swing the leg behind. This is where it's about sensation. That's it. So I shifted that too quickly, Jenny, sorry. So you could bring your right leg over to the left hand side and then swing the left foot to the hip. If you don't like it, leave that leg long.
Can I sit on this leg?
You can sit on it if you want. You can go on shoelace if you want to. So where the feet are both back. Sometimes that's comfier.
This is okay.
You sure? It's exploring. Now, what I was going to say is explore. Is the twist nicer for you when you come away from your knee? Is it nicer for you when you come towards the knee? Is there a difference? There's no answer.
One's a bit stretchy, one's a back stretch.
Exactly. There's no answer. It's just what feels good. And that's about exploring your practice. Come back and just the other side. So the other side might be different. Yeah, so then, so you're, don't force yourself, Jenny.
No, it's fine. This is good, but it's just getting there.
It's
because you're sat on your heels, so you're higher. Is that comfy? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Depends which one feels. I'm liking away tonight. You've got a bind as well, that's nice. There's a lot, they're called sage twists, and there's lots and lots of different versions. And you've got binds, and they're really lovely for releasing the back, but it's at what point it feels good for you. So we're going to come all the way down to the mat and just allow yourself just a moment, just with the spine just on the mat. Even take the feet to the edge of the mat and allow the knees just to come in together. Hands can just be where it's comfy. Maybe just allow, if you wish, you don't have to, movement in the knees back and forwards. Or you can just stay with the knees just gently together and take a moment here. Maybe taking one knee into the body and then stretching the other long. Pushing the base of the spine into the mat. Swapping knees. For a little heat, you can peel the nose towards the knee if you wish. Just back and forwards. But watching the neck. Keeping that lovely kind of peach between the chin and the chest. All the way back down. And allow yourself maybe to come to a little bridge, lifting up the hips, maybe walking the feet gently towards you. You can even take the arms, watching shoulders all the way behind you, back of the hands onto the mat behind you. So make sure those knees don't go past the hip point. So really keep them in line with the hip point so the knees are not splaying outwards. Just imagine you've almost got a block between the knees. It's a really good practice to have. All the way back down. Now, pose is not for everybody, and we have got time. I'm going to do a wee relaxation, but if you have a wee plough pose, or even the alternative to shoulder stand is actually just to bring yourself to flat back and allow the feet, the soles of the feet, to rise into the air. That's a really good alternative to shoulder stand. If you want to have a rock and roll, and you want a little play, if you are playing with plough, make sure the chin has got space from the chest. And you can always use a blanket underneath the shoulders, or you can just allow yourself back and forwards, that movement, whatever feels good. It's quite nice, and if you want to rock up and down the mat and play with the ankles crossed, watch your back on the hard floor, you can do. And then bring yourself all the way back down to the mat and allow yourself to come into Shavasana. Now, this is where you might start to cool down a wee bit. So if you've got blankets, you've got an eye pillow, I've thrown in an extra bit of practice tonight, so I've gone off my timing. just wrap up, put your socks on if you wish. Because it does chill down just slightly. Get the blanket. And find a place where you're nice and comfy. I'm actually going to put my jacket on as well, just by the window. And just make yourself comfortable, closing the eyes. Have a sense of the space around you, feeling the support of the ground, the gravity from above, giving your weight to the floor and feeling held. Let the body settle. And then allow your awareness just to move around your body, the eyes, the mouth, feeling relaxed, the throat, the chest, the belly, the legs at ease. Feeling the whole body starting to relax. And then just listening for distant sounds, sounds radiating outward, closer sounds, sounds just outside. Allowing just the mind, the thoughts, the images, just to flow, just to drift, and become aware of your body and the breath, beginning to shape the breath, and just let your breath flow effortlessly. And let your awareness sweep right from the top of your head to your toes in a big wave of relaxation. Allowing the body to feel heavier, melting. A gentle rise and fall of the breath. Maybe feeling just the air above you. As you relax, just feeling that breath rising and falling of its own accord. And then start to very slowly deepen your breath. Maybe take a deeper inhale, a deeper exhale. And then very slowly start to move the fingers. Start to move the toes. And gently just rolling onto one side and pausing. Allowing yourself just a moment, maybe even drawing the knees into the chest. And pause here until you feel ready to sit up, bringing yourself into Sukhasana. Taking the hands gently to the heart. Inhaling and exhaling.